Hello all. In today's session, we are going to understand what is the concept of methods of communication. I hope all of you remember what we learned last class. It was about the advantages and disadvantages of written communication. Now, communication always does not mean that I have to speak or I have to write. Even though I just sit quietly, my gestures, whatever I'm doing, my body movements, hand movements, leg movements also becomes a part of communication. So, good communication involves a suitable choice of the means of communication. Now, say for example, if a serious matter has to be discussed, then we adopt or we take the technique of oral communication. We speak individually, maybe one to one, face to face, in a closed room or something like that. If we have to consider the distance, if a person is very far, then we can go for the online methods like email or chatting or video conferencing. We can go like that. If audience is gathering, then we need to have confident outlook, excellent oratory skills, good command over the language, because I have to speak to the people who can understand that particular language. Then if it is an official matter, then both oral as well as written communication part has to be taken care of. So in general, we can say that the basic methods, depending on the requirement, we resort to different methods of communication. So the three types of methods of communication are as follows. That is verbal, non-verbal, and audio-visual. So these names are self-explanatory itself. Verbal means what? We communicate through the language or using our audio. That is called as the verbal. That is using a particular language. Non-verbal means without talking, the body gestures, hand movements, the way we stand, the way we sit, all these things comes under non-verbal. Audio-visual means using different methods, that is multimedia, in order to communicate with each other. Now let us go to the next concept about the verbal communication tools. Now, whenever verbal communication tools come, there are two things which are very important. Obviously, the language. In the language, what we should stress upon, the words and the grammar are used in the communication. Now, grammatically, the sentence should be correct, it should be meaningful, and it should be written in a correct way. And the words, usage of the words also matters a lot. If I use a word which is not appropriate to the situation, then it is not going to be a good verbal communication. So verbal communication is accomplished through oral communication, as I'm doing now. How I'm communicating to all of you? Through orally or through a particular language. The features are mostly the verbal or the oral communication occurs face to face, maybe one to one or one to many or many to many. It is easy and effective also, because normally when we are reading, our concentration may go here and there, but when we are listening and the communicator is very good in his or her language, it makes the session very effective. It travels very fast. As I'm talking to you, you can listen to me now, and it is encoded quickly, and I can get the immediate feedback. All these happen in real time. Let us take the example of a classroom scenario. Teacher is teaching, so the message is traveling fast. The students are understanding, encoding is done quickly. Immediate feedback, they ask a question, they say, ma'am, we have not understood this one, please kindly explain. Or if any question is asked by the teacher, they can tell perfectly fine. And everything is happening at the same time, in the exact time when the teacher is explaining. That is called as a real time. And the protocol that is followed is speaking by the speaker and listening by the receiver. So oral communication, we have two protocols. Protocols means what? The rules. One is who should speak, the speaker should speak. Who should listen, the receiver should listen properly. And when the roles change, it becomes vice versa over here. So here we see that in the verbal communication, where that oral communication becomes important and it occurs face to face. Next, let us see the effective oral communication depends on which factors? It depends on three factors, because orally I'm communicating. First, what should the person have? Proficiency of the language. That's what I told you. The accent should be correct. The usage of the words, the grammar, good control of the language should be there. accent, pace, clarity. If a person or teacher is speaking very fast, students not able to understand, then it is not effective. So go according to the pace of the audience. Clarity also should be there. Some ambiguity should not be there. Suppose I'm explaining the topic of any chapter. First introduction should be there. Then the body or the main matter of the topic. Then conclusion. Suppose a speaker is speaking to an audience. Say a politician is speaking to the public. Then also clarity should be there. Then only he'll be received by the public. Volume, mood, and emotions also. Volume means it's not that I have around 45 minutes and I put everything together. Too much of material. Say small children are there, class 1 and 2 children, and I teach them very, very complicated topics. Is it possible for them to understand? No. Effective communication will not take place. Mood also. Suppose the students are very tired, they're not in a mood to listen, then the effective communication cannot. And we have to look at the emotions of the people also. And obviously, keeping all these things in mind, the duration of communication also is very, very important. You have to speak slowly, clearly, with lot of clarity, and having lot of proficiency in the language. So these are the factors on which the effective oral communication or the verbal communication takes place. I hope it is clear to all of you. In the next video session, we are going to understand about the which one? The non-verbal mode of communication. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.